What's happening, Raptors Digest? Welcome back to the third ever solo stream for myself. I'm your host, Josh, and we're underway with Raptors basketball versus the Wizards, tied up at 18 apiece here. And I got my bets as per usual. Gary Trent Jr. over 1.5 combined steals and blocks. So I previewed this earlier before the game. If he gets 2 steals, 2 blocks, 1 of each, doesn't matter. As long as we get to that 2 number of defensive stats, that bet hits. And then Fred VanVleet over 19.5 points, meaning he'll need to get at least 20 in the match. Seems super possible. I mean, definitely can happen. And I feel like tonight's just one of those. I had a gut feeling Fred was going to do it. We'll see. I don't think he's scored yet this game. Achua making a nice little comeback with 4 points here to start. Gary Trent with 10 right now. But Freddie VanVleet, he does not have any at the moment. But that's okay. Things will not stay that way. And as long as we get a win tonight, I don't care what happens with these bets, but if you guys have bets of your own, please let me know in the chat. I'm curious to hear. I don't care if it's on hockey, basketball. I mean, hearing about Raptors bets would be cool, but anything you guys are gambling on tonight, let me know in the chat. I'm just curious to hear. And thank you to anyone already in the viewing party here. I appreciate you a ton. Raps down by 1 with 3 minutes left here. We got some people in the chat here. Raps in 4. Shouts out. Let's go. Andrew M. How you doing, man? Andrew as well. Got a couple Andrews in here. Mustafa, I'm doing well, man. How about yourself? Good to have everybody out here in the Raptors Digest community getting involved with these live streams, man. It's been so much fun. Delano Banton feeds it inside. Kem Birch cleaning up. That was a huge key to our last win. Kem Birch was an anchor for us on defense. And on offense, I don't think he had a crazy game, but just doing enough, doing his job, and making a big impact. So, shouts out Kem Birch, another one of Montreal's finest, along with Chris Boucher, guys like Lou Dort. I'm a huge Lou Dort fan, man. I'm a big fan of what they got going on in OKC. You know, come 2026, maybe we'll see a nice little team for them. But I was also high on Josh Giddey. Curious what you guys think about that, because the draft did get a little controversial there where, you know, Scottie Barnes, I get it, was an iffy pick by the Raptors. Everyone thought we were going to go Suggs, but Josh Giddey at 6th overall was another surprising pick by OKC. Personally, I love the pick. He reminds me a little bit of Ben Simmons. Different type of defender for sure. Ben Simmons is elite on that end of the floor, but Josh Giddey, just an insane playmaker. Already looks like he's better at shooting the ball. I'm going to leave it at the fact that I'm happy we have Scottie Barnes, though. Giddey's great, but man, did this draft work out for Toronto. Just fell in our laps, and we really needed it. It was an ugly last season. Quinn's Raptors recap saying, hey, what's good? How are you, my man? Fellow Raptors fans out here in the chat. We had some Knicks fans in here last game who were talking a little bit of garbage, and fair to say they got pretty quiet by the end of things there. That was a massive W, and I can't say that name, but let's get this W getting thrown out there in the chat. Yes, sir. That's what we're on our way to do here, and I'm hoping that my bet hits as well. Freddie without any points yet, but maybe Gary has a defensive point, or stat, I should say. No, nothing yet, but defensive stats for Gary Trent Jr. are just clockwork at this point, guys. I feel pretty comfortable about that bet. Didn't get too crazy with the gambling. You know, I went with a pretty safe pick. We hit on our last one, so I kind of just got to keep the streak up. Sometimes I'll do one that's just wild, and I'll tell you guys that, give you a little bit of disclosure, but this one I thought was honestly a money pick, so didn't want to screw around and add too many other ones. Jason, shout out from Montreal. Go Raptors. Yes, sir, man. All over Canada, all over the world. This Raptors following is crazy. Play tallies 1, 2, 3. Raps by 1 to 4 and 5 to 8 inclusive. Is that a spread you're saying right there? I can't tell. Be a bit more specific about your bet, but either way, it sounds like you're gambling on the Raptors. So shouts out to Play Tellies. And then Jet for Sale saying Neto, the Raptors killer. He's a feisty little player. He's kind of a rat out there. I gotta respect his game though. He hustles all over the place. Pretty good passer, can make open shots, and an energy guy. So, you know, Neto, I don't know. Remember what happened with Gary Trent last season when he hit that game winner over him? I remember Neto was going crazy trying to say that Gary pushed off, just making a scene after the game. And after that, because he was beefing with us all game, I've just never really liked Neto, and he is a Raptors killer, though. We got to give him that at least. Nick Slaw saying from beautiful British Columbia, let's get it, Raps. Beautiful BC, you are not lying. That is one of the most gorgeous places in Canada. Everyone my age, I swear, is just ready to move out to BC now that we're all graduating from school. So, got a lot of kids coming out there. I want to go out to BC pretty soon. Shouts out anybody from BC in the chat right now. Delano Banton passes it over to OG Anunoby. Coming off a career high. That was awesome. Gary misses in the mid-range, but there's Kem to get the offensive rebound. OG just misses. Kem another rebound. Oh, and it goes out of bounds. But already, we got another super chat here from Marcel Martin. Let's go, Raps. Won't be able to tune in tonight. Watching the My Hero movie right now. Hashtag Goody Mob. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you popping in, even if it's just for a moment. Marcel Martin, massive legend here at Raptors Digest. Appreciate you, my man, and I'll hope to report some good news to you on how the Raps do tonight. Currently down by 4. Banton from the mid-range hits it. Banton's starting to look. I say it every time. I was a Banton critic just because it came to like him or Malachi Flynn, that sort of comparison. Who gets more time? I thought for sure Malachi, but every time I thought there was a weakness in this kid's game, Banton is just there to prove me wrong. So he's earned every little bit of his playing time right now, and I imagine that Nick Nurse is going to continue to extend him and do whatever it is he's planning to do with Malachi Flynn, because I am very confused at that situation, and it's unfortunate for him because he does deserve a bit more run than he's got here, and worst comes to worst, I'm sure he'll get it somewhere else in the NBA, but pretty useful asset, especially to consider him your third string point guard. Well, I guess I don't know where Goran Dragic is in the mix of things anymore as well. Maybe this is a sign that he is going to be moved soon, but he's got to prove a little bit more, I think, before we get to a comfortable trade situation with Dragic. We got 32 people watching right now, 33. Shouts out everyone in the live right now. Appreciate you big time. Watching from Cambridge, Ontario, seeing this in the chat. Shouts out. Andrew M. agreeing he wants to see some more Malachi. Definitely, and I can't argue that Delano's not deserving of playing in front of Malachi. I guess we're kind of just seeing why that is right now. He's giving you results every time. But Malachi, I feel like, was consistent too. He ended last season with a lot of expectations. In my opinion, I feel like what they asked Malachi to do in the second half of last season is more than I think they could have asked a player like Delano Banton to do. Malachi is just so much more comfortable being the source of offense. I know Banton's like a better defender for sure and a better passer, but Malachi's not bad at those things either. So I wish he got more of a shot. I'm sure he will. Rooting on both of them, though. I don't want to get too negative on either guy. They'll both get their shots. I'm just confused at how Nick Nurse is carrying this narrative of Malachi at the moment. He doesn't seem too happy with them, to be quite frank. So we'll see if we get more details on that. OG from 3. Let's go. That is heat, ladies and gentlemen. Straight heat. The Raptors are heating up. I got my animations out. Ooh, that was close from half court there. Thankfully missed that. But OG Anunoby staying hot right now. He had 36 last game, a career high. I was lucky enough to bet on him, and he steps up and knocks down the 3. Pretty good opening quarter for the Raptors right now, all things considered. $40 viewers right now. Shouts out, you guys. Appreciate everyone joining the live right now. If you guys have any bets of your own made tonight, let me know. I don't even care if they're just on this game or the NBA in general or horseshoes, whatever you can gamble on. Let me know in the chat. I'm curious, guys. Appreciate everyone showing out. So Charlie Knockout saying, what up from Vancouver? Go Raps. It's a long season. The guys will all get their shots. Yuta back? ? I don't know if Yuta's back. I haven't heard. I know Siakam's supposed to be coming back later this month. Three weeks maximum, and that's great. That starts to replenish our depth at the 4 spot. And now with Scottie Barnes out, we're completely missing all of our power forwards. But Yuta should be back this month as well. Whatever it is, it's not that drastic. That's been holding him back so far on the injured list. I'd imagine he'll be back within a week, if not tonight, and I just haven't heard about it. I'm looking forward to it, though. Yuta's got insane energy. He's always been a guy who fits the character of this team. And I think he'll get his opportunities too when he comes in, especially if Scottie continues to stay out, which I hope he doesn't. But let's take no risks with our rookie here. This kid's going to be a star. Last thing you want is an untimely rookie injury. I actually saw the updated betting odds, and I believe that Scottie Barnes is officially first overall for the betting odds, or the betting favorite to take home Rookie of the Year. And who would have thought that in a rookie class this deep that would happen? And then you have a guy like Chris Duarte, who was sitting up there in the first spot, and he was looking like he deserved it. He was averaging over 20, just a dead-eye shooter. And I suppose he had a few games where he was maybe stagnant or didn't score so well. So Scottie just completely leapfrogged him. I'm pretty sure out of the first 3 of the first 6 games Scottie played, he's already hit 20 points in the game. That was like the biggest question about his abilities, and he's still passing and playing defense like we thought he would. I keep raving about it, man. It is absolutely nuts. Happy Scottie Barnes is a Raptor, even though that year was painful. I'm going to thank Aaron Baines directly for giving us Scottie Barnes on the way out. Shouts out the Tank Commander. Josh Jones saying, tuning in from Sydney, Australia. It's hard to find other Raps fans here, so it's cool to tune in while the game's on. Shouts out, man. Josh Jones over there in Australia. OG with the steal. And the dunk. He did the Euro step dunk. That's like a part of his bag now for sure. But Josh Jones, shouts out to you out there in Australia. I'm sure the Raptors have some fans over there. You gotta found a fan club or something. But we appreciate you having you here at the Raptors Digest in these live chats. They've been a lot of fun, and you know what? We're hoping that the Raptors can pull out another win tonight and keep this thing going, because the vibes have been immaculate. Fouled Denny. Teflon saying OG getting fouled in the paint. He needs to shoot more. I think OG's shooting a good amount. Or you might just mean that in specific to this game here. We'll see what happens, but OG will start getting his. It's a little bit too early in the game for me to make too much of a judgment on what's going on with him, but Gary Trent's been hot to start the game. OG's got 5 points in 11 minutes. Trent with 10. And Precious with 4. It's looking pretty spread out so far. Svi Mikhailuk has really answered the bell going into the starting lineup. He's looked amazing with pretty much anything the Raptors have asked him to do. Really done a knockdown job for him. And we talked about it last live. We knew Svi Mikhailuk was going to be a massively underrated pickup. Fred for 3. Misses it. I could have used that for my bet. Could have used that to keep this lead. Oh my God. Denny. That was a blown layup and a half. Thankful that happened. Is OG going to jack it up? That was kind of an ugly take. But Denny Ogdevia blowing an open layup, like a full-blown open layup. OG almost with the steal at the other end. That was ugly. You're probably going to be on Shaq and the Fool after that. But happy it wasn't on the Raptors. Andrew M saying, I can't believe how different our team looks this year. It's crazy. It's crazy. We've just taken... we haven't been afraid of being repetitive. We've just noticed what's good and tried to do it a bunch, right? Like everyone from 6'7" to 6'9", super length, super defensive intensity. OG Anunoby in the paint hits it, man, right on cue. We loaded up on wing players because they tend to be the most effective at being a tweener is a good thing now. So when you're at that height and you can play a little bit of guard ball, protect the rim, have a versatile game, that's so desirable. You know, being a tweener instead of a specialist is not a weakness anymore. It's quite the opposite, and we heard these words reiterated a lot when we were analyzing Scottie Barnes in the draft. This is the way a team should look in the modern NBA, I think. They fully invested. Nick Nurse is the right guy to coach it. It does look a little bit like day and night in terms of what we were dealing with last season, but it's tough for me to really explain how devastating our center situation was last year to this team. I know it's like a microcosm of the group, but I think it resulted in losing so many games. And then Pascal had a few hilarious misses at the end, but he'll figure that out. We're giving him that kind of reign to just go be the man, and I know he's not really a young star. He's entering his athletic prime for sure, so I'm hoping this year when he comes back, he shows that he's taken that extra leap after missing all those game winners last year, because he's always been a workhorse, and I'm sure he's due to develop. Most improved player, he formerly won that, so I don't worry too much about his outlook on things. I just want him to get angry. He doesn't get angry enough. But this team, when Pascal gets back, it's going to get crazy out there. Jenfro asking, what's it like to be being a video podcaster, Josh? It's awesome. I mentioned my origin story with the Raptors Digest the other day on live, and not a lot of people might have known that I started just writing articles, and that's where I kind of made the transition from. So being on camera is a lot of fun. I love having the chat up and interacting with you guys and watching the games, and Chris Boucher for 3 misses it, but it's just been an unreal process. This is like, yeah, of course I want to do this as I continue to go on and move up and find big opportunities to keep being a video podcast or whatever you want to call it for NBA analysis and just sports media. Definitely in my goals, but I also just authentically enjoy it so much that regardless of my opportunities here, it's something I'm going to continue to do. So everyone who's been in here and supporting me, much appreciated. Fred VanVleet, the mid-range. If you got a mid-range game, you are a weapon in this league. And I know it's super slept on, but when I tell a player to go get me a basket, I feel like the mid-range is what you look to shoot. A player like Kawhi Leonard's a good example. Oh, air ball. Holiday just jacked up a 3. Complete air ball. They're complaining about this new ball leading to way more air balls than ever before. And also the 3-point shooting percentage is like way down to, I think, the last time it was this low. I want to say it was like 1999 or something. It might not have been that long ago, but it's a pretty historic year in terms of bad shooting to start out the season, and they're blaming this new ball. But I also heard that the only thing they did different was replace the Spalding writing with writing that says Wilson. So I don't know. I get it's in the details. Kem Birch in the mid-range misses, but Chris Boucher's there to clean up. That's a big basket. But Kem hustling to get some rebounds as always. The one asking, is Scottie out today too? Yes, he is. They're being pretty precautionary with him. They don't want to rush it. I don't blame him, but hopefully he'll be back next game or the one after. I really don't want to see this last too long. He's having a crazy rookie campaign. Andrew M saying, you tell Ben and Riker to keep those kazoos holstered. Yeah, they do not. I told them right away. It was ugly the way we opened the season, but we're not embracing the kazoos anymore. We did, and we were rewarded with the gift that is Scottie Barnes. But moving forward, man, I don't ever want to be in that mindset. We could blame a bunch of things, but now we do not have those same crutches. I do not want to look at our team and feel the way I did during that season. We got rewarded for it, so it's whatever. Really cashed out on an unfortunate circumstance of a year. But now that we're back, we got to keep those kazoos away. This team is capable of making a playoff push. I don't want to give them, unjust expectations. We are getting our feet back underneath us. But if this core stays together, they're going to get some pretty serious expectations pretty soon. Like next year soon. Masai Ujiri has made it so this team's always like one superstar away from being an instant contender. And I know you could say that about a bunch of teams, but look at Portland, right? Damian Lillard's been there forever with a decent supporting cast. Can't get anything done. Luka Magic, I know it's very early in his career, but he too hasn't been to a finals. Just a bunch of different things where I feel like the Raptors can instantly take you to that level with their culture and the supporting cast. I wouldn't rule out a trade like a Damian Lillard putting us to that level. We took an injured Kawhi Leonard, gave him basically the green light, anything he wanted, and then just supported him and did the right things, and next thing you know, instant championship. But anyways, I'm doing enough to hype up the Raptors franchise right now. I'm sure we will figure it out, but the kazoos are staying holstered is the main message here, everyone. Aaron Plant asking, are you going to stream any Leafs games, brother? I probably will. And if I don't, I bet you Zach Phillips, my co-host, will do that for sure. One of us eventually, but we haven't done it yet, and I'll make sure to keep you guys posted on when we're going to do the first one, because that'd be a lot of fun too. We've definitely been thinking about it, but nothing yet, unfortunately. Raps and 4 saying Jack's Bonjour kills me every time. I agree. Fanfiction Pop Tart asking, do you think Scottie will be a superstar one day? Significant chance. Honestly, think there's a significant chance. There's a pretty wide scale for what we consider a superstar, but by the modern definition of it, I would consider him already like showing those flashes. I mean, the only players that could do the 3 dribble across the entire court to the dunk, and Kendrick Perkins said it, and I agree, it's KD and Giannis. Those are the only players currently in the league who can do it. So just by virtue of seeing him do that once, I know the ceiling's like up here. And the Raptors are the right team to develop him. So I would say there's a significant chance he ends up to be a superstar. All-star is like the baseline expectation, I think, even right now for him. OG from 3, let's go. Jeff for sale saying the Leafs are playing kazoos. Nah, the Leafs have won 3 straight. We're all right. We're recovering. But for a while there, I was unholstering my kazoo for the Leafs, but we'll keep those holstered as well for the time being. Raptors on defense here, up by 6 points. OG with the steal to the dunk. Oh, he's on a new level of two-way dominance right now. Holy smokes. OG Anunoby. With the defense to offense, this team is built for the fast break. 50 people in the chat. Shouts out everyone. Appreciate you tuning into the live stream. If you guys have any bets, I've been saying it all night, throw them in the chat. I'm curious to hear which you're betting on. Obviously, I have mine up there in the top left corner of the screen, so check those out. I release them on game day on YouTube Shorts and Twitter. So if you ever guys want to, tail these bets, see me get on a winning streak, want to make some money, hop on in and we'll gamble together. And that's always a pretty fun roller coaster of an experience. But gamble responsibly. Andrew M saying Leafs are looking better. Let's see how we do against the Lightning and Bruins. Definitely those are going to be big tests for the Leafs. Confident they'll do all right. I feel like they almost played down to competition recently. They'll hit their rhythm and I think they're going to be okay. We're already starting to see that, but I'll keep it on basketball for the time being. Wizards miss. Oh. Okay. I guess Harrell got fouled there. Wraps up by 8. So far, the Wizards have only lost 2 regular season games. It'd be real nice to hand them another on their home court after what they did to us on opening night. That was ugly. And that Russell Westbrook trade is starting to look so favorable from the standpoint of the Wiz. Like, at first, I felt as though you could have gotten another young star or maybe even like a lot of pick compensation, but what they did, just going and getting a ton of starting rotation to help out Bradley Beal, who's already debatably like a superstar in his own scoring sense, that was probably the better move. They're going to help give him what he wants, what he's been fighting for, rewarding his loyalty. That trade looks really good for the Wizards at the moment, and not so great for the Lakers, but it'll pay off for them too, I'm sure. And why not just throw everything into helping LeBron contend now? D Ned saying Nick's got to stop with this Kem and Boucher lineup. Well, Boucher is not able to get that 3. Yeah, well, I hope they can get Boucher going. I personally haven't noticed the lineup being too problematic, but it's actually, you know what? I think they both do a decent job of crashing the glass. Like even we saw earlier, Kem got a rebound, puts it up, missed, but Boucher finished there for him. I don't think it's a dead end dynamic for the team, and they're trying to get Chris up to speed here, which I don't blame them. When Chris Boucher's going, he is going. He looks like he gets in these little unstoppable mindsets where everything he jacks up is just a hit. He's making big energy plays. I haven't seen the defensive highlights from him this year is what's most concerning to me. But him and Kem, I don't mind. I've been loving Kem's play over the past few games. Svi Mikhailuk from 3. Oh, he bricked that. Rare, pretty bad miss there for Svi, but we'll let it slide for Svi G Water. Boucher with the rebound. Ooh, Fred. I don't think Fred's scoring nearly enough for me to hit my bet right now, but it's all right. The Raptors are up. Oh, Svi from the mid-range. That was nice. Svi Mikhailuk's footwork. Watch that about him. That's his strength for sure. Even when he did that crazy like running man layup last game, he's good, man. He's all hustle and he uses his feet. Opposite of a lazy ball player for sure. Really thrilled with him. Apparently contenders wanted him and he just decided the Raptors were the team. And if that doesn't tell you your team culture and reputation is flourishing, I don't know what will. Fred VanVleet takes the pick, gives it into Precious, and Precious blows a layup, but Boucher misses the putback. Those are gimme points. You need those. Stating the obvious here. Aziz reminding me, your bet's not looking good right now. Toya Tom saying score check. Right now it is 44-40 for Toronto. But back to what Aziz was saying. Yeah, my bet on Fred is not looking great, but speak of the devil, just gets a basket. So I think he's at 4 points. Oh, Fred from 3? Oh, Aziz, man. I need you to just call out my bet more often because it just did a complete 180. So Fred had 2 points. So he's at 7 now, I believe. It's going to update in a sec. But yeah, I believe he's at 7 now. So the bet's not completely lost. Obviously, I need 20 for him in the match. And we're still at 4:17 left in the second quarter. This bet's alive. But yeah, for a moment there, it wasn't looking so great. D Ned saying Precious back in. Broken heart, broken heart. Need Justin Champagny. Such good bounce, great touching, great rebounder, finds great space. All those things you said about Champagny are true, but I'm a big Achua guy. He's a sophomore already in the league, and you got to remember how great he looked in Summer League, and the same can be said about Champagny. I get that. Definitely a big fan of his, but Precious is the guy I think they're a little bit more focused on developing at the moment, and that makes sense. I think that he's going to be the better player. He's already had more NBA resume and success, and Champagny will get his own shots, but right now, I think the important project, or the more important project, is Precious. But I'm open to the debate. I'm a Champagny fan. D Ned saying Malachi, attack the handle and space, boy. Malachi on the court. We have a sighting. Fred VanVleet from mid-range. There we go. Oh my God. Let's go, Freddie V. I love seeing that. Raptors are up by 9. Just under 4 minutes left in the half. Malachi's D'ing up Neto at half. Oh, Kispert with a bad miss. And then Harrell knocks it out of bounds. Raptors ball. Sweet stuff here for the Raps. They've credit to them throughout this first half. They haven't really taken the foot off the gas. I know that the Wizards had a lead at one point, but it was always close, and they haven't been afraid to build on their leads here, which you need to do if you're going to stay the course and win the game. Wizards are good, man. They got a lot of serviceable players and a star in Beal, so it's not going to be an easy game. We're on the road, but we've looked great so far. Svi fouled. We're going to be shooting 2. Chance to go up by 11. Jet for Sale 1 saying, thank God we have FVV. True that, man. He is the point guard of the future for this team. And the skill on the court, like, besides that point, you got just one of the best leaders, one of the best character guys in the NBA. Kevin Durant said it himself. VanVleet's a dog, and he's going to play in this league as long as he wants. And I'm happy to be for the Raptors. Joe Simpson asking, what's up with Scottie? Why is he getting no minutes? Is he hurt or load management? Definitely need to clear this up for you, Joe. It's an injury. 110%. If he was on this roster healthy right now, he'd be out there contributing and furthering his case for Rookie of the Year. But thumb injury, nothing, returning back positive on an X-ray. So it's going to be a pretty minimal recovery time. But they're not going to rush him. They're going to do the opposite of that. They're going to be very cautious and maybe keep him out for a couple extra games. I'd expect to see him back before he misses like 4 to 5 games, though. That'd be the absolute maximum we'd see Scottie stay out. 1-0 so far with him out of the lineup. Obviously, his team's much better with him, but it's great to see that we're performing even without his energy. Malachi with the board. Come on, Malachi. Show me something here. Svi? That was a nice setup by Malachi, but even nicer shot there by Svi. Fred VanVleet is fired up, man. This is everything you wanted to see tonight for the Raptors. It's heating up in here. wraps up big right now, and we're looking like the better team. The better team. On opening night, I was scared. All of us were. We almost had to break out the kazoos, but this Raptors team is on fire right now. Svi Mykhailiuk putting the exclamation point on it. He's a baller. An absolute baller. The Raps right now up by, it's got to be like 13 to 14 points. D Ned saying Malachi pace in control is what I was expecting from Goran. Yeah, that's interesting. I was expecting just a better player. I know Goran Dragic is really good. Even I think when they went to the finals, he was leading them in scoring coming off the bench. Goran Dragic is legit. He's a great pro. You always hear about him as a character guy too. We're lucky for it. We're lucky to have him from that aspect. But the play on the floor has not been what we hoped it would. But I think he's also sitting on the bench for good reason, because right now we have a lot of players who are doing better that deserve to see the floor before him, like a Malachi, like Delano Banton, Fred VanVleet's all, of course, the starter in that role, and then Scottie Barnes loves to be a point forward. Keeping Goran Dragic on the bench is unfortunate, but like I said, we got other things to be excited about, which is nice. I'm just hoping that his trade value hasn't tanked completely, because in my opinion, that's the smarter thing to do. But if the Raptors have serious, very, very serious playoff aspirations this year, like things continue to roll and we just look more and more dominant, okay, maybe Goran Dragic is a value to you, to us then this season, but I don't think it'll end up being exactly like that. I'm pretty sure the Raptors still want to focus on young assets in return. It's likely he gets dealt, but put in the chat right now what you guys think would be a nice trade package or return for Goran Dragic. Personally, I'd love to send him to the Mavericks and try to get Maxi Kleber back somehow. It'd be a big-time stretch to do it as a one-on-one. You'd need to somehow integrate other players or picks to make it happen, but I'm a big fan of Maxi Kleber, and obviously Goran's first pick is Dallas, and I think the Dallas front office wants to please Luka by bringing in his fellow countryman, another Slovenian, Goran Dragic, to play with him. Obviously, they are great friends. How old is Dragic? Joseph Sai asking in the chat. Dragic is 36, I believe, at least. Brian Martin pointing out that Yahoo Sports was talking about Fiji Water. The name is catching on. It really is. I heard them say it on the broadcast tonight as well. It seemed like when they did those player intros on the Raptors Instagram, when they would throw in a nickname for everyone, I felt like most of the nicknames that they had been throwing out were ones that we just routinely say on the pod too. So it's pretty cool. We're pretty in sync on the nicknames here in Toronto, which is nice. Splash Bandicoot was my pick, by the way, for Svi's nickname, but lost out to Fiji Water. Just too perfect to not use. Great defensive play by Gary Trent. That's an all-NBA defender there. I don't care what people have to say about it. Late pass from Achua. Right now, Svi handling in the paint. Come on, Gary. Go get me a bucket. Misses the mid-range. But really great play there from Gary Trent. A lot of people in on the trade Goran situation here. I don't think many people are attesting to that. Even if we're in a contending year, if it just surprises us that we're that close. Oh my God. Precious. Oh. Blown layup to like double blocked under the rim. You don't want to see that. Svi almost gets the ball back at the other end. Does not. But what I was saying is, even if we do get to a point where we want to contend this season, which would be surprising but not impossible, then yeah, there is an argument that you keep Goran Dragic for your own purposes, but still, like, if we get into that situation, it's not going to be because of Goran. So I'm in favor of getting the young assets, definitely. I think I speak for everyone when I say that, pretty much, but if not, definitely speak up in the chat. Josh Jones bringing up a point that I was actually thinking the other day. I don't want to see it, but I reckon Boucher plus Dragic will be in some sort of trade package. And to me, that trade package would sound really appealing to Dallas. Like, so appealing practically, sentimentally, right? They want to make Luka happy and let him play with Goran. That just seems like it works from all angles. But of course, the big question is, what do we get in return there? And Masai will not just settle. It's going to be some tough negotiations. We'll see how desperate teams get at trade deadline. But the Mavericks right now, 110%, look like they need to get another skilled ball handler on the roster. But shouts out Jalen Brunson. He's done a good job there this year. But still, their depth is lacking big time in that department. They need to get another playmaker, and Goran would help fill that void pretty well. Etienne Cadeau saying Butterfinger Achua. Yeah, that's let's not try to nickname him that, but you're right. He's blowing wide open looks, getting blocked, just looking nervous, really. But Nick Nurse has been good, keeping him in the game, letting him run with it, hopefully avenge his mistakes here. I'm not worried about Precious. I say it already, it seems like every game. We got a great player, and right now it's clearly some mental things going on when you're missing like putbacks and easy layups. It's not a skill thing. He's a crazy athlete. He'll figure it out. He's been good. Oh. Precious with a nice pass, but it gets picked off. I'm not helping my case here. Oh, wow. No, nice pass at the other end. Bradley Beal finding Montrezl Harrell. This Wizards team, man, I don't know how high their ceiling is, but their floor is high. Brian Martin rehashing the Baines experience was just dreadful. Yeah, right now we're arguing that, or someone in the chat is arguing that Baines and Precious are like a similar level of frustrating. I gotta disagree completely. Baines was driving me crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like, thank God I wasn't live streaming last season, or I would have got banned from YouTube with the things I was saying, just naturally reacting to the play of Baines. Much happier with Precious, much more acceptable to see from a guy who's like, 21 years old versus Baines at 36 and very washed up. I'm okay with Precious. The Tank Commander Baines has a special place in Raptors fans' hearts. Happy he was here because, Scottie Barnes was the ultimate gift we got for signing him. Man, the idea of Baines was a lot better than the reality. I'll tell you that for free. Well, we already knew this. Fanfiction Pop-Tart saying, I'm more of a keeper for Goran than most, but I'm certainly willing to sell for the right price, say if the Mavs get desperate. Yeah, I definitely don't think we should just throw him away for nothing, but... Oh! With 0.3 seconds left, the whole way of the court, Gary Trent Jr. lays it up for an and one. Raptors could be up by 13 after this going into the half. This is insane. What a play. Who passed that ball? OG Anunoby with the block. Svi Mikhailiuk the outlet. And then Gary Trent, of course, finishes it with an and one. On fire. Gary Trent Jr. I almost bet on him again tonight. I should have done that. I mean, I did. Obviously for the defensive stats, which I think's probably already hit. I called him out for getting a good steal earlier, but I was tempted to bet the points as well. He's been hot. Two-way players. This roster's full of them. All right, so Gary Trent looks... Okay, so he's got one steal right now. That's the steal that we watched and I commentated out loud. So not going to hit the bet yet, but we're on pace and I have full confidence that Gary Trent is going to get his defensive stats. My mistake on the score. They're going to be up by 11 here going into the half. Crazy story today. I was waiting for a little, break in the game to bring this up, and obviously halftime we gotta get through some time here, just sitting talking about the game, whatever else comes up. But today at LA Fitness, so I go there to play basketball. I went to play, find a scrimmage, and there was some guys there just hooping as per usual, doing half court 5-on-5, and I was shooting at the other end, waiting to just tap in once there was a new game starting. I kept looking down the floor. I was like, is that Josh Donaldson? So I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. That's definitely not Josh Donaldson. But I kept looking over, and then every time I looked, I got more and more convinced. And then so I started to see other people line up outside the window to look in and watch the pickup basketball game, which, like, let's be real, at LA Fitness, who cares? Like, what? No one's there to watch LA hoops, and if you are, like, go home. It's definitely not the scene. So people were there just watching Josh Donaldson be at the gym. And I was like, oh my God, it's him. Like, there's no way people are just staring in here for no reason. And then I ended up playing basketball with him for like an hour. And I know everyone's probably wondering, was he any good? Like, he was pretty coordinated and a good athlete, but he wasn't a crazy basketball player. It was just insane having him out there. Like, he was getting steals and stuff and the occasional layup, but And I swear, this is completely, completely true. Just crazy. I had to share it with you guys. Like, what are the chances that I run into a former Toronto MVP? Like, on the Blue Jays there, I believe he won it in 2016. Josh Donaldson. I was a huge fan of his, and I had to tell him that too. Crazy moment that you'll hear about, running into Josh Donaldson at an LA Fitness. Apparently, he married a girl from Aurora, which is the town next to mine. Guess that makes sense, but absolutely wild stuff. 102 people watching right now. Shouts out to everyone. And I got it. I wish I had it uploaded right now. I would show you guys the picture to prove myself. But yeah, I'm sure it'd be pretty weird to make up. I'll tweet it out later or something. But yeah, running into JD at LA Fitness, and then playing an hour of basketball with them was insane. Like, at one point I got a basket, right? And I'm looking at him. He's like giving me a high five, like looking fired up. I was like, I just feel like I'm in the MLB right now, just seeing Josh Donaldson get jacked up right now, playing a game with me. This is crazy. But yeah, I'll change up the topic now and talk about the Raptors. That was just something I had to get off my chest. Like, what were the chances of that? Precious Achua is not looking so hot right now. Yeah, that's being brought up a fair bit in the chat. The Baines comparison was out of pocket. Definitely two different players and two different sentiments in the fan base. Achua is a project. Baines was a guy well into his twilight that we were not going to be able to use the way he would have needed to be serviceable. He was making like 18 AAV. That's just bad situation overall. But I think he still got like 4 points or something. The story of the first half was definitely Anunoby and Trent getting right back where they left off after the Knicks game, which was an awesome victory. We were down by like 20 in that game. I thought it was like goodbye, we're done. Unfortunately, the Knicks are a good team. I gave them that credit. Thought we were probably cooked, but we came back and won. And won pretty definitively. Once we took the lead there in the second half, we didn't let up, got the victory, and now we're at 5-3. Hopefully on to 6-3 after the game. Chua's got 4 and 7, so 7 rebounds. He's out there doing something. 2 assists as well. Gary Trent 13, 1 and 1. OG Anunoby 12 and 1. VanVleet 11. Mikhailuk 13. Shouts out to Svi Mikhailuk. I should have mentioned him as one of the stories there in the first half because he's been wet from 3. Not a damn thing changed for him. He's a shooter. At this point, he's not an NBA veteran, but I'm comfortable with him as a player. I've seen him in enough locations balling out that I know that he's legit. And if he can land with one organization for a while, you'll see him become not a franchise player, but like a player like Norman Powell, where he's just always been underrated on the roster, help you win a bunch of games. Like, that's a great comparison, in my opinion, for the type of player I think Svi can be. But obviously a lot larger than Norm and currently younger. So hopefully we can pick him up and lock him up long term. I think it's 2 years on his contract. But if the Raptors can find a way to extend him at a reasonable rate, I think they'll do so because he's an important player to any team in this league. Kem Birch, I think, actually looked good in the first half there. He's got 2 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. See if he has any defensive stats. He does not, but he's an anchor on the defensive end for sure. Bueno Kitty saying, we always mention the Aussie pylon, but don't forget the dumpster fire at the 5 spot with Len there too. Yeah, that was terrible. It sucked. And Len, I believe, afterwards went to the Wizards, right? And I know we beat them the one game, but I think they beat us one of those ones as well. And I'm pretty sure he had like a double-double. And I was just so beside myself thinking, okay, Len sucks. But it's because we have no other centers. That's why he's able to drop a double-double on us. But now it stings extra hard because we let him go and we just look stupid. Last season was a dumpster fire completely. And a lot of the troubles, like I said earlier, did come from our weird situation at the 5 spot. The guys we were putting out there, oh my God. It didn't even just like stay even playing field. Like, they hurt us so significantly. And we had to build defensive structures around it. It's a shame. But you know what? Yeah, shouts out Alex Len. He was definitely a part of that travesty. Iceman like Gervin saying, Achua and Birch are both backups. Yeah, I mean, probably. You know what? I even changed that to definitely on a good team. But right now, even though we are a good team, we do have some issues that are still lingering at the 5 spot. So until we get that essentially permanently figured out with someone we're good with being like a franchise starter at the 5, that's probably just going to be the situation. We'll do it by committee, but that's also probably why we went to go a positionless roster where everyone's already at like 6'7" to 6'9" and capable of defending the rim. That way it's not as glaring of a need, but at some point I think for sure a 7-foot center who's serviceable and potentially a little malleable, like a Moses Brown, right? We can build him up into the player we hope he is. That would be an ideal situation for the Raps. So we'll see what we can do to get a Moses Brown, but he won't be cheap. He's a pretty respected player after what he was doing there. Was it the end of last season? I can't remember, but he had a pretty great stretch where Moses Brown just essentially got on the map. Also, let's briefly mention, shouts out to Kyle Lowry. He has really awakened that Miami offense, but he's been a huge part of the defense as well. They're already a great group, but he's fully unlocked, I think, all the potential of the players on Miami with his playmaking. Bam's looking back to his old self. Tyler Hero's proving people wrong, and a lot of it's coming from Lowry's playmaking presence and leadership. And then you also have a career year right now for Jimmy. We're putting him in MVP conversations. Everything is going right for Miami. I don't even think this is a fair trade to say like, oh, you can analyze a winner or a loser. It's just like two very fundamental different situations where it was kind of happening regardless. So let's take what we can take. And I'm still very, to this day, satisfied with our return. But Kyle Lowry is paying huge dividends for the Miami Heat. I don't think Miami is going to win a championship. I really don't. But will Kyle Lowry get them the closest they could have got with like their same core? I say so. This is going to be a big season for them, and maybe they'll prove me wrong. But let me know what you guys think of this new look Miami team. I think Kyle Lowry's just done wonders for them, but that was an expected thing to happen. It was voted the move of the offseason by NBA personnel and media. No surprises. He's legit. We already know what Kyle Lowry gets up to, and it's so funny seeing Miami fans in their comments like, oh, the box score says one thing, but anybody who watched that game knows Kyle Lowry was all over the place. Like, his leadership's next level. People are saying, how come they're talking about CP3 but not Lowry? And I'm like, oh my God, Miami fans are some of, like, to be honest, the more annoying fan bases in the NBA, because they're always just like apparently all over every free agent, and it's annoying, right? Like, Miami fans are pretty gloaty. And then to have them now defending Lowry on the other side of it, where it's like, oh, you guys don't get it. Like, he's such a leader. You don't get to see him every day. It's hilarious because it just sounds like a broken record of what we've been saying for so long. But the Miami fan base is huge and pretty respected in the NBA. So hopefully they can help get some collective respect on that Hall of Famer name in Kyle Lowry. It's Jace saying, we got scammed by the Heat. I wouldn't say that completely. I really don't feel that way because we were in a situation that just sort of called for it. Kyle Lowry, I know the salary matching plays a big role into this and needing to get the cap space to absorb Lowry's contract, etc., etc. I understand like the pragmatics of the situation, but in all realness, Kyle Lowry could have gone elsewhere just as a free agent. So the fact that we were able to sign him and make this trade happen with Miami, where we get back Precious Achiuwa, who I think is going to be good. He's a big part of the future of this team, even if it's not as a starting center. And then you get Goran Dragic, who knows what he could become, right? Like, we could end up getting, it's like when we traded Gravis Vasquez and used the pick to draft Norman Powell. Like, watch something like that happen again, right? And all of a sudden the trade makes a lot of sense because you get a really great rotation player in Precious Achiuwa. Like, Kyle Lowry's 36. He was a free agent. We can't expect crazy things. I'm happy with the situation nonetheless. But right now, Lowry's doing great things for Miami. Raptors are great in their own right, but definitely not getting the same respect, which makes sense. So we'll see how this trade pans out over the next few years. That's what it'll take, but it's a tough one to analyze. Marquise Chris is available too. I'm seeing Iceman like Gervin pointing that out in the chat. You know what's so funny about Marquise Chris? He's not a bad player, but I'll never forget Serge Ibaka. I think Marquise Chris like stepped over him after an out of bounds ball, something like that. There was a scuffle. It was typical NBA stuff. But then Serge just looks at him, and Marquise is staring down at Serge, and Serge just like turns into like a lion, like grabs him by the neck and brings him into the stanchion underneath the net. That was like a meme for a while there. It looked like Serge was going to kill him, but it got broken up immediately. They tried to throw punches, but I'm sure all of you guys remember it. It was when Marquise Chris was on the Cavs, and yeah, it was a big meme for a while. Serge Ibaka like wrestles lions and stuff because he just went right for the chokehold. Serge was not to be played with. I miss having him on the Raptors. The Clippers, unfortunately, haven't got the most out of Serge as he was injured there for a while. And he's only getting older. The Raptors, even though we had him as like a 31, 32-year-old, he was just sort of peaking in terms of his all-around feel for the game. But you know what? Respects to Serge Ibaka, a legend, an NBA champion. Big time fan of his. Luca Figueiredo saying Precious is young. That's why he needs development in the 905. I wouldn't put Precious in the 905. I agree he needs development, and I think he'll get that doing what he's doing right now, probably more than anything. If his confidence just goes like really, really downhill, which I really hope doesn't happen. Maybe you look at it. I feel like that would just even hurt his outlook a little bit more, but Precious looked NBA ready in Miami. He's looked NBA ready in Toronto with the exception of like the past 3 games. I'm not too worried. Like he's at least getting these opportunities and missing point blank. That's pretty easy to fix eventually. And by eventually, it can be like a game in, game out thing. He's just young, so he's a little inconsistent and maybe intimidated at times, but we've seen so many good things from Precious. I'm not ready to write him off. We got 153 viewers in here. Shout out everyone. I appreciate you guys big time. It's been super fun so far. The Raptors up by 11 at the half. We should be resuming play pretty soon. I got my bets up there in the top left corner. Gary Trent needs one more defensive stat. Very likely that's going to happen. Fred VanVleet, he's got 11 points, so we're on pace. Statistically on pace to get that bet, but obviously 9 points and a half is a pretty decent performance. So let's hope he can do that for me and end up with north of 20 points, because that's what I need to win this bet. But overall, hoping the Raptors can win, and it looks like they can avenge this opening season loss they had to the Wizards. But I'm going to knock on wood real quick because nothing's guaranteed, and we got a decent team in front of us. So Jenfro asking, where is the Precious propaganda animation? I'm just starting to get more of the animations now. I'm kind of integrating them slowly. Ben's an absolute wizard with this stuff. I think he's got like multiple keyboards where he's just hammering different things at different times. To match the production level of Ben Rogers, it's going to be a learning curve. And I'll probably never get to that level, but Ben is very quick with it. He's got it all set up and memorized. I've got, I think, up to like 10 animations now, and then 4 or 5 that I'm using throughout the live stream. I got the hot and cold one in now. We'll keep building. It's going to be a process here, but the Precious propaganda, I keep defending him. I'm going to need to integrate the animation pretty soon. Blue Wake saying, Fred looks nice tonight. I agree, and he was really turning it on there in the second quarter. I was worried about my bet after the first, but Fred VanVleet's a gamer. Never getting too concerned when it comes to him. He'll figure it out. Appreciate everyone watching right now. DG's asking, where do you place your bets? I go to Bet365 because it allows you to parlay the individual player props, and not a lot of apps for gambling allow you to do that. I think Proline does in Canada, which is cool, but even that's pretty limited. Like, you get such a great selection, and they do it for football too. Gary Trent with another defensive stat. That part of my bet hits right on cue. But yeah, that's what I use. Bet365. Oh, Fred VanVleet. That was a nasty paint step back. Hits the back of the iron and misses. Unfortunately, would have loved to see it, but Raptors are coming out with a lot of intensity, which is what we need. And Gary Trent Jr. just putting on the clamps on Bradley Beal right now. Fred VanVleet swats the ball out of Gafford's hands. That was almost a steal, but another super chat right now. Shout out Paul Blunt. 1-on-1. Joshy Heist versus Josh Donaldson. I definitely should not give a serious answer to this. But you know what? I think I'm better at basketball than him, which is like a crazy statement. But if we're playing 1-on-1 where he can just be like the skilled athlete that he is, like he was really good at layups, and his defense was actually really good. I don't know why he was trying that hard. He still plays in the MLB. Like, he could have got hurt. But whatever. Respect to Josh Donaldson, doing it for the culture. I think I'd win, but it'd be a close one. I'm sure no one agrees with me here, but that's all right. Got to be confident. I like it better as having him as my teammate. That was a lot of fun. It was crazy. Like I said, having a play where I'd like get a basket and he'd be like high fiving me. I was like, what? And I swear, I will upload on Twitter a photo of him and I at LA Fitness today playing basketball to prove it. I had to double take like 10 times before I realized it was actually him, but he's there clear as day. I asked him. It was Mr. Josh Donaldson, the former MVP. Mike James saying Raptors better win this game. We have no business losing to the Wiz twice. This is a different Wizards team than past, but I agree with you. And then Fred VanVleet helped bringing us closer to winning this game and me hitting my bet. But banging the three there. The Raps are up by 12. We're almost at the 10-minute point here in the third. Dinwiddie tries to go to the basket. That's another great player that they have. They're not a bad roster at all. Gary Trent. Do not come near this man if you have the ball. He's an ultimate ball hawk, a disruptor. Wow. Fred VanVleet with the left, laying it up on the transition. Good little setup there by Gary Trent Jr. Milwaukee Money saying, I lost picking Kuzma +5 fantasy points over Fred. I lost already. You know what? Everyone, good luck in your bets, but I'm hoping that one doesn't hit because Freddie VanVleet needs to show out tonight for me, and I'm hoping that he shows out for the Raptors, which he is at the moment. Kuzma's having a wild season, though. I'm a big Kuzma guy as well. I think he was just like hilarious in LA. Everyone kind of clowned him so much that I have a fondness for Kyle Kuzma. I wouldn't exactly call him like an underdog, but playing with LeBron, a ton of memes get made about it. Obviously, he was under scrutiny. There's always the ones of like LeBron staring over and, he's the GM of the team, so he's going to trade you. Kuzma had it rough in LA, but the change of scenery out there with a bunch of other rotation players and a star to play with in Beal, who's not quite as demanding as LeBron James, I think he's going to be in a great situation. And LA is so full of distractions. You got to be a special kind of guy to play out there and just be a workhorse. Like Kobe Bryant was the ideal guy. Shaq, dominant enough to get away with it, but Kobe even talks about how distracted Shaq was out there. Mike James saying they're good, but twice. Nah, I agree. We shouldn't be losing to them. I mean, I got high expectations for this team. Ben and Riker were saying top four is like a seed. I didn't know, but at this point, it looks like this roster could get it done. But that's still a hot take for sure. This Eastern Conference is a lot better, and the Wizards are included in that. Foul there on Beal. Man, up big, or sorry, not up that big. 6-point game right now. Oh no. No, okay, I am reading the wrong score there. Yeah, we are up considerably large. This is good to see because opening night was so discouraging. Keeping the kazoos holstered. Gary Trent, long two, hits it. That was so close to being a three, but the long two, his mid-range game's nasty. He's just a spot-up shooter, so natural with it. Shouts out Gary Trent. We got 102 people watching right now. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. This is a great game for the Raptors. They're just playing awesome basketball at the moment. Oh, that was a... Raps coming back right now. Fred VanVleet up the court. Getting the pick from Kem Birch. OG from the baseline. Oh, that's a nice pass. This team is not selfish at all. I love it. There's such a next man up mentality all the time, even with who they pass to. OG! Oh, you're going to see that a few times. That was nasty. Who'd he do that to? Man, drop a W in the chat for OG Anunoby right now. That was a sweet move. He's creating space out there, knocking down his shots. That's what we need from a top dog, and OG's looking like it. OG with the ball again. Finds Mikhailuk for the dunk. They are just picking them apart. OG is... He deserves every little bit of credit right now. You always gotta be hard on your top player to be the best he can be, but OG is maxing out his utility right now. He's doing everything on the court. They call a foul on that. I believe they're saying right now that Birch fouled Gafford, who I think's been a beast. Daniel Gafford, I don't know where he came from. If anyone knows the background story of Gafford, I don't know how I don't know this, but he's impressed me whenever I've watched him. Where did he come from? Is he like an overseas signing? Was he recently drafted? Is this guy like later in his career just becoming a useful role player? I need to know more about Gafford here, but he's looked legit. Kem Birch just being a defensive menace again, gets called for it there though. Jerry Joseph asking, can OG be an all-star next year? He could maybe end up being an all-star this year, depending on how good the Raptors continue to do and what his averages look like. But at the time being, I'd say there's a significant chance he could do it. The only thing, like I've said before, is defensive stats are a big part of what makes OG so dominant, and that isn't always the main factor when they're considering these equations for who gets into the all-star game. But you know what? OG's got a lot of respect in the league, and like I said, if the Raptors keep balling out like this and he can lead them in scoring, then yeah, I think so. Mark Correa saying OG has all-star potential. Definitely. Whether or not he gets it, he's in that like conversation, I think, now consistently, which is awesome. Or I think he will be in the conversation consistently. DG saying he got traded from Chicago. We're obviously talking about Daniel Gafford. Okay, that makes sense. I think I remembered him being a Bull. Bueno Kitty, hey, listen to those people that want to trade Pascal. We all know 4-3 is a Robin looking for a Batman. Just waiting till he finds out number 3 is now KOG unlocked. Man, I feel like this team has a lot of guys that are like really good number ones. Not really good number ones. But Scottie Barnes, we already been talking about it. He could potentially be special. OG Anunoby, he's like supposedly, someone who could be a bona fide one. And then now Siakam, who's like already been on the second team All-NBA, won a championship as the second leading scorer. He's on the roster too. And then Fred VanVleet, who's dropped 54 for you and is up there in league defensive stats, just like Gary Trent. Like there are just so many guys on this team. There's not any single runaway player that's going to lead us at this moment, but I think that the one guy who will solidify himself as like the alpha of the alphas will be Scottie Barnes eventually. But our roster looks good, man. It is deep. Even the bench players come in and work their tails off and have a real good game plan always. There's solid fundamentals, and Nick Nurse knows how to use them. I love what we have going on here in Toronto. Last season was unfortunate. We paid our dues as fans, but let's be real. If you've been following Toronto for the past while, it's been a treat. For everything from the management to the players personally to the results we've got, it's been a luxury. And then to have Scottie Barnes come in now after one bad season, it's just a gift. Just a gift. Rapson4 is saying, do you guys remember Wally going up to Devlin mad because he said he's no Drake fan? I don't remember that, but I do remember Wally and Drake beefing, and then the Wizards ended up sweeping us. Actually, maybe I do remember what you're talking about. But yeah, we definitely have had some beef before between Drake and Wally in the earlier playoff series, and we got swept, so Drake took the L there, but who's the GOAT? Wally? It's Drake. Raps up 72-56. Beal misses a 3, but Denny puts it back. Denny's an interesting player. I don't dislike him. I don't think he's like too good, but I like his effort level. He's always trying to do a bunch of different things, like stretch out the floor, make good passes, energetic defender. Oh, gee. I looked like he could have traveled there. Gets blocked either way, misses the shot. And then Denny, I got to stop hyping this kid up, scores the transition basket at the other end. DG's in the chat with the Drake. Oh, my throat's a little raspy. But that's a legendary clip. Man, Drake gets memes more than any famous person out there. Just period. Athlete, musician, politician, doesn't matter. The Drake memes have been consistent since 2011. And they only seem to get better. Jerry Joseph saying Scottie greater than Suggs. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. And I never questioned the Raptors throughout this whole process. Trust in Masai. And Denny with another basket. We're up by 12. The Washington Wizards, since they've come back to play here, have swung the momentum a little bit, but looking for Toronto to answer right now. Freddie VanVleet with the ball. Drop your final score predictions in the chat right now. I'm curious what you guys think. Gary Trent Jr. with the miss from 3. KCP bringing it up the court. I'm not a huge KCP guy. I do think he's like a decently valuable player. Oh, it's a mid-range on me. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of him. I don't think he's that good, but another rotation guy for Washington. I got to be a little better here about keeping up with the chat. I've missed a few messages in here. DG's saying OG Anunoby is the Raptors franchise player. I think it's Scottie, but they're like a 1 and 2 at the moment. OG certainly like earned his stripes in this organization big time, which is something I think we all prefer to see as Raptors fans. It's worked out for us before. Alex Lee saying, what you think about the new City jerseys? They're fire. They are so sick. I think that they killed it because I love the old design, like the approach to it, putting the dinosaurs and the pinstripes. That looks sweet. And then to do it with the integrated OVO colors, they killed it. I think it was awesome. And even on the Raptor, on the jersey, you can see he's wearing like the 2019 championship jerseys we had with the chevron. People were joking. Of course, the Raptors found a way to sneak in the chevron into the new jerseys. They're sort of notorious for the chevron look. Not everyone loves it, but I don't hate it. I think that we have other jerseys, obviously, that look better, like the City editions. Those things are sweet. Hopefully, we end up wearing those a ton. But you know what? The chevron doesn't bother me too much. The Raptors have steadily improved their look. I remember they used to have these camo jerseys. If you guys remember what I'm talking about, it was for a military night at the ACC at the time, the Air Canada Center. It was probably around 2015. They had these like camo Raptor jerseys. Google a picture of them if you guys have never seen it. These things, I think they aged well. If you were to bring them back out, they'd look cool. They'd look really cool. Were not popular at the time, though. Fanfiction Pop-Tart asking about my bets. They're not looking bad right now. I hit. I just checked and I hit. Okay. Sweet. Fanfiction Pop-Tart, shouts out. Thanks for reminding me, man. OG with the basket. That was nice. But yeah, Fred VanVleet has 20, which is what I needed. And then Gary Trent Jr. definitely has 2 defensive stats. Like I think 2 steals. So we're good. We are good. I'm going to give myself the fire right now because that is worthy of it. 110%. That's 2 games in a row we've hit the bets, guys. Get in touch with me on Twitter before the game. I drop a YouTube short. You can go check out the one I posted today. We're making money. And I know this seems like a humble bet, but hey, if you put like $5 on it, it would return like $17. It's over double your money out here, so. But bet responsibly. OG Anunoby with the offensive rebound gets blocked on the putback by Montrezl Harrell. Montrez, I could have swore he was signing with the Raptors. I was like definitely convinced because he unfollowed basically every NBA team, continued to follow the Raptors, and then he also named his AAU team like the Raptors. He named them the Raptors, like that, I don't know, the Montrezl Harrell Raptors or something, but that was their logo, that was the team name. So everyone was like, okay, that's a pretty dead giveaway, I believe. If my eyes are not deceiving me, you'd become a Raptor, but he didn't, and to be honest, I sort of get why the Raptors wouldn't have been overly interested in him. Pretty hefty contract for a guy who, another 6'9" center, doesn't really answer the long-term questions that we have on this roster. But Montrezl Harrell was convinced at one point, I'm sure you guys were as well, that he was going to sign. OG misses. They're coming back the other way. Neto with the ball. The guy's a rat. Precious with the steal. We lose it again. Beal in the corner. Bangs it right in Banton's face. Good defense by him, though. Josh Jones throwing out the prediction here, saying 109 to 102 Raps W. Diljit saying 110 to 104 W for Toronto. Okay. All right. I'm liking these score predictions. I'm going to give out my own. I'm going to say... 109 to 104. So I'm going with 109 to 104. Raptors win. Ramaz asking, why is Precious bad right now? I would just say because he's young. Like, at the end of the day, he's got a lot of learning to do. It's not for a lack of effort, these issues he's having. He's got great tenacity. He's got great athleticism. All he needs to do is become a little bit more of a refined finisher. And we saw it through the Summer League and the preseason. And even in the first few games, remember he dropped 15 and 15 on the Celtics. I get the Celtics aren't necessarily like that lockdown defensive team that tests you. But they're a solid group, and he did that. And this was just like a few weeks ago. I'm not... people who are writing off Precious right now, it's ridiculous. I've said it like 5 times this pod already, but he's... I'd say he's just underperforming because it's a natural part of improvement, right? You need to make some mistakes, and he's 21 years old. It doesn't surprise me that this is happening, but Precious still does a ton great for this team, and he'll figure it out. The Raptors are really just the ideal coaching staff to guide him through this. And then Andrew M pointing out, Ben and Riker didn't want Montrez. Yeah, I wasn't super high on it either. I think I liked the idea of him being on the roster, but for the amount of money it was going to cost us, I wasn't too sold. Didn't seem like it would be worth giving up that contract. And like I said, it doesn't solve our team. But beyond all that, from what he was posting, it seemed definite that he was going to sign. Overall, I think in hindsight, we can look and say it's a lot better that he didn't. Because I like our roster right now, and we don't have money locked up in insignificant players. And not to say he's insignificant, but he's not like our young core, right? Those are the guys that we do want to invest in. Luca Figueiredo sounding like the ultimate homer, saying, why are the refs always against the Raptors? I will never understand. We have actually gotten some historically bad treatment by the refs, and I've always just attributed it to like, we're the only Canadian team. Not a lot of like American referees would have grown up even like caring about us as a fan base or our team. But that seems like a little biased. I'm sure that they also give stars the benefit of the doubt with the whistle a lot, and we don't always have a star on the team. That's something that we don't have very good luck getting stars at a free agency and stuff. So maybe because we've never had, like the exception of Kawhi or Vince, a top 10 player consistently, we're not used to the calls going our way. That could be part of the explanation, but I haven't noticed the refs being too bad this game. It's difficult being a ref. Ramaz saying, imagine if the Raptors got Jarrett Allen. That would have been awesome. Montrezl Harrell fouled again. I think it's Achua. It's not a good look. But yeah, that I gotta find that comment again. Yeah, Jarrett Allen. That would have been a crazy acquisition for the Raptors because he already plays the Raptor way, right? They look for guys with a very specific outlook and personality. And Jarrett Allen, still very young. I think he's at max like 23, 24 years old. He's got a ton of great years ahead of him, and he's just a defensive monster. Like he ends up on so many highlights and posters, but it's because he jumps in front of everything, and eventually he's going to have way more highlight blocks than he will have dunks on him because he's going to improve, and he's already just got the willingness to jump in front of anything. I love Jarrett Allen, and his offensive game's underrated too. He's a leader. I'm overall a big fan of him, but obviously for all the reasons I just mentioned, he is an asset that's not just going to get handed out somewhere. Well, actually, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers got him for something pretty ridiculous, didn't they? If you remember what the Cavs had to trade to get Jarrett Allen out of Brooklyn, let me know, because I don't think it was that much. But who knows why they got that opportunity and not the Raptors. I don't think it was that much, but Jarrett Allen's a baller. He definitely deserves his credit, and he'll be a household name in the league for a while. One of the better centers for sure. And a circus and one from Boucher. Ramaz pointing out that Jarrett Allen won 5 years, $100 million, but I don't know if the Raps had the money for that. That's another good debate there. I think eventually, though, he is going to be a player of his sort of blueprint the Raptors do need. So that seems like a crazy price to get the solution for, but Who knows what the Raptors think and how they feel about Jared Allen. I would imagine that they're high on him. Maybe not that high on him because we do have our young core to pay. But I think if you have an opportunity to get Jared Allen, I think you do it. And you figure out the situation from there. Like OG's on a relatively very good contract for how good he's become. I think even Gary Trent's pretty affordable for the current market price of a lot of guys that do what he does. So Tyson 2K saying they traded Exum. Wasn't it I think it was Exum Clarkson trade. I think Exum was dealt in the Clarkson trade to Utah. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, Jared Allen as well didn't go for much at all. So maybe the Raptors could have possibly attained him, but as Ramaz pointed out, there would have been the issue then of him signing a big contract that no one really would want to pay out. I still think you get the opportunity, you seize the opportunity to get Jared Allen. Mark Correa saying Boucher has been struggling so far this season. You're definitely right. He has been, but Nick Nurse has been good about giving him opportunities to respond and answer the bell. He hasn't done it fully yet, but looking serviceable out there nonetheless. Chris Boucher, I think, gave us a lot of expectations in him after last season. I haven't seen him rim protect the way he was last year at all, which is the biggest letdown to me because Boucher, he won MVP and DPOY in the same season in the G League, and I'm not saying that is going to blow the NBA out of the water, but anytime he came and performed on the next level, he was an elite defender. Like, that was apparent about his game. I haven't seen him do the same things consistently this year. Hoping he figures it out, though. Nick Nurse is definitely giving him his opportunities to try and figure it out. So long as we're winning, man, I don't care. And Fred VanVleet bangs another three-pointer. Oh, actually, that was a 2. But he's got 25 on the night. In hindsight, very happy that I ended up betting on Fred VanVleet. This has panned out really well. Gary Trent is consistent defensive monster now. I'm surprised I got those odds on the 1.5 steals and blocks combined. I love our team. I love the way it's set up. And for I can't remember who it was, but someone was calling for Justin Champagny earlier. Well, he's out there now. And currently we are up by 9 points. So this game is pretty close. 122 left 122 in the third quarter currently. And this is crazy. The foul disparity is nuts. I'm seeing someone say this is like 16 fouls. Yeah, Mike Vick saying 16 fouls. LOL, you're beating the referees and the Wizards. Yeah, this has been bad, but the Raptors play some aggressive defense. I've been going back and forth from the chat a whole lot, so I haven't got to see every single foul that's been laid. But you know what? The Raptors are just so defensively aggressive that there will be nights like this where it happens, especially if the whistle tightens up. Precious at the top with the ball. Precious cutting to the... Oh! There's your answer. Precious Achiuwa. I'm not worried about him at all. He threw that thing down. That was a poster. Wow. Okay, that could have been an offensive foul there. Fred VanVleet got knocked off on the pick, but they missed the shot. We're coming back the other way. Fire me up. We needed like a little bit of energy there, and Precious gave it to us. What a play. Took it off the dribble and yammed it. Fred's getting ready to cook him. Jumper comes up short. So yeah, but 2-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Bradley Beal's got the ball at the top. Fred VanVleet's ready to make a defensive play. Champagny, great defense. Boucher with the rebound. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Fred hit that. That would have been crazy. But 25 points for Fred VanVleet already. We're going into the fourth quarter with, what's the lead now? So we're up by 7 points. You'll take that. That was a great way to close out the quarter. Oh no, hold on. The scoreboard's just frozen. I thought we were up by a little bit more than that. Yeah, so up by 9 points at the moment. We'll take that. and hopefully just build on that into the fourth quarter. I want to beat the Wizards. After what happened on the season opening night, that sucked. So Ramaz is asking thoughts on OG tonight. OG Anunoby, what does he have for points? He's looked really good. I think he's got at least, so 16 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, 1 block. OG's been noticeable. Obviously, not the same offensive explosion that we saw last game, even though there's a whole quarter left here. OG's just been showing out as our star. And like I said earlier, he was passing around the ball. He was hitting different kinds of looks. I'll give it to OG. He's not natural when he does things, but he's worked on his game so hard that he's capitalizing on all of his opportunities, and he's doing a ton of different things for us. So I've loved OG's game tonight. Definitely nothing to complain about there. He's 2 of 3 from 3. And then, you see the defensive stats. More than just a 3-and-D player, but he does those things so amazingly. Shouts out OG. So Tom Duke saying, I think JaVale would be an awesome fit. I'm not sure if you're talking... Oh, yeah, an Iceman like Gervin also bringing up JaVale McGee. Yeah, so who the Raptors should sign in free agency. JaVale McGee, he's a little bit old, right? So I don't know if the Raptors want to, go out and pay him money unless it's a really low, forgettable amount to be on the roster at this point. But JaVale McGee is actually a huge asset to a team. I know that you've seen him all over Shaq and the Fool. He's definitely had his moments where he did not look so good and deserved some criticism. But JaVale McGee's a straight-up asset. And this is definitely on the note of what our team is missing. A 7-foot energetic center. That would be huge for us. I keep saying the teams that are going to go deep in the playoffs consistently and really have a chance at winning will be the teams that can bite off any defensive matchup. And to do that, I genuinely believe you need a 7-foot guy. I've been, I guess corrected before at times if you look back in NBA history, but it is very rare that you win without a 7-footer on the roster. Trace124 saying, Precious just killed a guy. Blue Week saying that dunk. Stephen Keenan saying Precious caught a body. The chat is just blowing up for Precious right now. That was amazing. If that was at home, he would have blown the lid off of Scotiabank. Game is back right now. Fred VanVleet starting with the ball. Finds OG from 3. Gets the open shot. Back rim and out. But I like that look for OG. Nice setup. And Ramaz saying Kuz is trash tonight. Yeah, he's... Gafford and one. That was a nice play. Yeah, Kuz isn't having a great night. He played great the first time we faced him. And then in preseason as well, he had a really good game against the Raptors. Kuz is kind of a hot, cold guy, right? He's a great offensive... He generates a ton of offense, but is he a passer? Not an unreal one. Is he a great defender? Not really. Is he an amazing rebounder? He's okay. So he's not going to do a whole lot else unless he's scoring. So yeah, he's not looking great this game, but Kuz is overall having a really solid season. I'm definitely a Kuzma fan, and we'll defend him to a certain extent. Yeah, a lot of calls out here right now for Banton. Nice bucket for Banton. Takes it to the rim, scores it. We're up by 8. A lot of people calling here for JaVale McGee in free agency. I could see the Raptors taking a look at him. I think he's at least 34, 35. Someone double check that for me in the chat, but he was very important to that Lakers team that won. Tell you that for sure. KCP for 3, misses. Banton with a big rebound. Ooh. OG trying to throw the ball back out when he was in trouble on the baseline. Hit the basket, and the Wizards come back and almost get a dunk from Corey Kispert, but Chris Boucher goes and meets him at the rim with what is being called as a foul right now. Chris Boucher doesn't seem happy. At that pace, it did look like a foul. Maybe when we slow it down here, maybe he did get ball first there. The Raptors might be able to challenge this, I think. I'm not sure, but either way, met him at the rim. He's going to make him earn it at the free throw line. I'm okay with that. Ramaz saying he hates the Wizards. Yeah, I don't like the Wizards either. I like Kuzma, like I've been saying, but definitely not a big Wizards guy. I think I remember when, I mentioned this a little bit earlier when I was talking about Wally's and Drake's beef, but back when they swept us, like, that felt like garbage because we had big time expectations that season. Then John Wall and Bradley Beal just took it to us. It sucked, and we had been talking trash. I think we might have even had home court advantage that series, but got swept. Fred VanVleet. Nice mid-range J for Fred. I love when a player can operate in the mid-range. That's like a sign of being elite. In my books, at least. Denny leaves the lob. Oh, Banton getting up court. Gets fouled. That was lucky there. That was a sloppy take by Banton, but he's shooting two. We'll take that because it's been a lopsided officiated game. Got 100 people in the chat right now. Shouts out everyone. Appreciate whoever's tuning in right now. We sit on live stream for a while together, so having more people in the chat just talking and me answering questions, getting to see his hype plays together like Precious Achua, just silencing the haters with a dunk that would have blown the roof off of Scotiabank. There's been some fun stuff, and ultimately we're sitting here up by 10. Banton hits his first. Big love to the Raptors Digest fan base, man. I gotta say, like, even though I'm on here now, I do still feel like one of just the community members because I've been watching the Raptors Digest forever. I was super privileged to get a chance here with Ben and Riker. Shouts out those guys for helping make this happen, obviously. Did my own work and grinded, but still feel like I'm one of you guys in the community, and I am. We're all part of this, so appreciate all you guys. I keep gawking about how grateful I am, but it's really true. This has been an awesome opportunity, and the Raptors is organically something I've loved forever. Like, I'm assuming most of you would agree. Up by 10. We just got another foul. What's the foul count at right now? Someone in the chat let me know. This is getting out of hand. Mike Vick saying Banton is sick. He is sick. What a unique skill set. And it's cool to see the first ever Canadian player taken by the Raptors this year, and it gets to be Banton, who, I mean, he wears on his sleeve where he's from, right? That Toronto accent is so thick. And he's really gracious about his opportunities too. Like, definitely is someone who emphasizes, being a great role model to kids in his community and, showing out for Canada and Rexdale. It's definitely cool. The Raptors do little things like that. Like, the play always needs to make sense, but I find the Raptors, it's got to make sense pragmatically, but the Raptors try to do a lot of sentimental things with their selections. And, even like the Freddie Gillespie, they gave him a contract. I don't think they really cared to, but they did anyways because it meant a lot to the fan base and it was rewarding a guy who had earned it. The Raptors, they're a people organization for sure. Anunoby backing down Dinwiddie. He's got like 1 second left. Yanks it. Oh, that's elite. That's Kawhi Leonard right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is Kawhi Leonard. Mike James saying, OG nasty. I'm seeing some ideas of a Flynn trade thrown out there. Oh, Neto hits a 3. That rat. I should not be drinking a coffee this late, but whatever. We're on live. Fred VanVleet dribbling at the top of the key. He's having a big night. OG Anunoby to Precious. See what you got, Precious. Ooh, that was almost another air ball. I don't think he got blocked, but almost did. Just stick to the posterizing dunks, Precious. You seem to be good with those. Oh, big defensive. Oh, great block by Precious. Gary Trent Jr. saves the ball. Oh, that perfect. Gary gets fouled. That was a foul. The Wizards are freaking out. The fans are freaking out. Makes sense, but Gary got fouled there. Great hustle, even though it wasn't like a formal transition opportunity. When this team pushes the ball, ups the tempo on offense, and gets down the court quick, great things like this happen. And yeah, KCP, that was a foul. How are you even arguing that, man? You grabbed his elbow. Whatever. Jeff Jerica asking, what's the score right now? 93 Toronto, Washington 86. And we've currently got 8 minutes, 17 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Fred VanVleet at the line, though. Okay. So they teed him up. They definitely teed him up. I don't know if they teed up the coach or if it was KCP. I bet it was KCP. But either way, Fred VanVleet buries his one free throw. Raptors up by 8 right now. Mike James pointing out the Wiz still have a chance. We've been on a big high this whole entire stream. The Raptors have looked good, but you're right. Let's not sleep on the Wiz here. They're a good team, and they're definitely in striking range. Khem Birch, finally a guy who can finish on a pick and roll, who can catch the ball in the paint and go up like Serge Ibaka would and put a floater in that's consistent. Khem, what an anchor. The guy is a complete pro. I'm very happy with Khem Birch. I know he gets paid a pretty significant amount. Offensive foul on Dinwiddie. Otherwise, that bucket would have counted. That's a big break for the Raptors. We stay up by 10. Ramaz saying, I'm assuming Precious starts because of his development. Definitely. They want to give this guy a big assignment. Nothing too daunting, but I think with Precious, they sense kind of a guy who's not afraid, right? Like, he might struggle, but he's a workhorse. He's a physical player. Like, they don't want to baby him. They probably want to give him big responsibilities. Khem Birch is locked in with that floater. They're doing a great job of finding him, though. Khem, in the right system, Khem's a really solid role player. D-Ned saying, stop it. Khem's the guy. And then also someone pointing out that Miami barely used Precious. They did use him. I saw him definitely play some valuable minutes and have some good games out in Miami. Not the way the Raptors have used him. You got to remember, he's a year older now, a year more developed, and the Raptors have a bit more of a voided situation at center. So just logistically speaking, you will see him on the court more. But even they knew Precious was really good, and especially after watching him at the Olympics when Nigeria beat the U.S., had that iconic block on KD. I know all of it's like, okay, but that's one game, right? And like he didn't go crazy statistically. Yeah, but you could see his confidence building, and you could see him as a player, ascending to someone who can guard a KD, who can help lead a team to beat Team USA. I know it's a bit of a different ballpark in terms of rules in the international basketball, but still, Precious Achiuwa. I've been saying it all night. He's a baller, and they do start him to give him that little bit of extra development. But the thing is, when Scottie Barnes is back and when Pascal is back, I do think the man logically to sit down will be Precious, but at least he's had this opportunity to bite off starting minutes to begin the season. And it hasn't been a complete failure. The Raptors have a pretty good record, and we've seen glimpses of some pretty good stuff from Precious. I'm going to keep coming back to that 15-15 game he had against the Celtics. Luca Figueiredo, how can the fans boo when the Wizards are actually fouling? I can believe it, Fans don't always care about getting that call right. They just want to put pressure on the ref so he puts away the whistle next time or whatever, make the ref feel like he's in a fishbowl, just getting absolutely throttled for every bad call, every call that goes against the home team. They're doing their job as fans, but even myself, I catch myself all the time doing some homer stuff. I'm always yelling at my TV, and I see the replay, and I'm like, okay, that's definitely a foul on us, but whatever, that ref sucks. You know how it goes. People bringing up DeMarcus Cousins in the chat. I don't know. I don't know if that's who I would be looking to bring onto this Raptors team. I guess it really does depend on the contract. I'm not like opposed to him as a player, but he's just older, right? And so far from what he once was. And you can credit an Achilles injury to that too. I think it was his Achilles. It was something terribly wrong with his knee, and it was sort of a similar situation to Klay Thompson, I believe, where you have one devastating knee injury followed up by another right after. So not a lot of luck for DeMarcus Cousins. Hasn't settled down in one place for too long. Remember the kind of beast he was when he was with the Kings? That was a different kind of breed there, but I don't know if I'm too interested in getting Cousins at this point in his career. Wizards miss a 3 to open up the out of the timeout here. Wraps up by 12. Let's close this thing out, man. We got just over 7 minutes left in the fourth. Sharm Roberts asking what's the score right now. I guess I kind of just said it, but 98 for Toronto, 86 for Washington. we're talking about referees and getting mad. Like Kyle Lowry, even if it's in 4K, OG bangs the three. Let's go. Raptors are heating up, man. I got to throw this animation back on. We haven't been cold even once tonight. At least I'm going to say that because we're up big right now. The team's looking great and we're on fire. But what I was saying, Kyle Lowry, he'll always be on the refs no matter how accurate the whistle is. Like I've seen him get caught in 4K fouling and he's screaming at the refs like his life depends on it, like pleading with them. The way Lowry interacts with the refs, it used to bother me, but after a few years, I just learned to find it hilarious. It was next level. Like I can't put it in the chat too if you've seen it yourself. Lowry and the officials is just like a sideshow within the game. It's hilarious. At this point, they're definitely used to it and give him some leeway when it comes to not teeing him up because he gets in the ref's grill after like everything. Like, absolutely everything. Andre Silva saying Wizards commentators are so mad. So funny watching the game recaps and hearing the opposing commentators. At least most times I do on the highlight page that I use. It's awesome because they always want to be hard on the Raptors. They act like they don't know our players, and then someone balls out and they get so surprised, right? It's like, who is this young player development, this development to that? It's like, no, the Raptors have been this team, man. We just get no coverage or love from the media. Jerry Joseph asking, what can we get for Boucher? That is a good question. It's a good question. I'd like to think a pretty significant return. Relative to what he is, but he's a good player is what I mean. So I don't want to settle for a bad return on him. Fred VanVleet with the ball being hounded by KCP. Finds Fiji water. Just misses. Rebound off the fingertips of Birch. Oh. Beal misses the three, but Svi fouls him, so he's going to be going to the line to shoot three. But he's still got a pretty open look despite being fouled. Thankful that didn't go, or else we could be looking at a 4-point play here for the Wizards. Beal's got to make three. Tom Duke asking, when is Utah back? I really don't know. I know the injury is not that serious, so I'd suspect within the next week, maybe 2 weeks. I really want to say gut feelings like a week from now he will be back in the lineup, but who knows? I don't know a ton about the Yuta Watanabe injury. I know Siakam will be back this month, probably towards the end of it. Don't think Yuta will take that long to return. Some potential trade scenarios thrown out for Siakam in the chat right now. Siakam for Bagley, Healed, and then 2 first-round picks. Well, you'd be tempting me with that one, but I don't think we would get offered that in all realness. If we did, it is like a legit question, but you know what? Right now, I don't even want to think about Siakam situations like this until we get back and see what he's up to, because Siakam's someone that's blown us away before with his development, and it's at this time where we went from, forcing him into the leader position to really wanting him to own it, and if he's going to come back in that position, ready to own, being the top guy, the bucket getter in the crunch time, if he's ready to bite that off for us, then I'm definitely not ready to look at trading him. But if not, if he's just still that same good overall second best player on the roster, Siakam, then maybe you start to consider something. But let's give him some time to return. I'm excited to see what Pascal's up to, and he's looked so vibrant on the bench. I got to give him big kudos for that. He's been into it every game, cheering on his teammates, and I love to see that he's developed a great relationship with Scottie so far, because obviously Scottie looks like our power forward of the future, and Siakam's our power forward of the now. So to have them on great terms, just wanting to teach him is the ideal situation. A boss saying Dragic for Dunkin' Donuts. We'd be lucky to get that at this point. Yeah, some more people agreeing, just like Stephen Keenan here saying we should keep Siakam. I agree, definitely for the time being. It'd be weird to trade him after being out for this long, when I think there's a significant chance that he'll come back right where he left off, averaging north of 20, hopefully improving his 3-point percentage and just being an all-around facilitator, rebounder. What we're seeing OG Anunoby do right now is typically what we get from Pascal Siakam. OG is doing it at a super elite level at the moment, but Siakam's had his moments as well doing the same thing. If we can get them going at the same time, this Raptors team's going to be dangerous. Tom Duke saying, yeah, of course, keeping Spicy. He's our best player. But Jimmy Hoff saying Siakam is too soft. That is my one thing that bothers me about Siakam is he doesn't get angry enough. I got to be real about that. He doesn't get worked up and just genuinely like pissed. If there's a superstar, you got to take things personal and come back at a team. Take the life out of a team. Fred VanVleet looking to do that right now. He's got the ball. We're only up by 8. 5 minutes left in the fourth. Was that not a double dribble? Okay, I guess they touched the ball. Off the bank, Fred VanVleet. I'll take it. What a night for Freddie. How many points does he have right now? Shouts out Fred. The bank is open, baby. He's at 30 points. Wizards not going away, though. It's 103-95. Like Spike in the chat, guys. Like up this video. The Raptors need to pull this one out, man. We've been battling all game. Let's not choke right now. Foot on the gas. Fred VanVleet gets fouled. Man, Freddie VanVleet, he's putting on. People have been questioning him. People have been, and I get it at times, right? Like, we're used to the Kyle Lowry luxury there at the starting point guard, and we're seeing what he's doing for Miami's offense. Fred VanVleet's as formidable of a replacement as we could reasonably get right now, and he's just a logical guy to hand this team to. I think we're in good hands. Terry Black saying Siakam's handles aren't solid enough to be number one in the half court. I don't think he's that far off. His handles, it's honestly one of his strengths, I would say. Maybe his handle in the paint, trying to operate for space. Maybe you could make that argument a bit more, but when it comes to getting the ball up the court through the half court, I think he's pretty effective with it. But Scottie Barnes, no doubt in my mind, is a much better dribbler than Siakam. And, I mean, Scottie Barnes is becoming an elite dribbler at age 20. Siakam didn't really figure it out until he was about 25. So I think we know who's going to be replacing who soon. But Siakam is still a guy that is going to bring a ton to this roster. Definitely. Jerry Joseph saying we need a true shot creator. OG's not a true shot creator. Is he a true high scoring guy? Yeah, I think so at this point. Gary Trent is someone that I got some questions about being, maybe he should be our go-to guy on last possession to get a big bucket. I know Fred's a pretty reasonable choice too. I love how level-headed he is, but just in terms of fluidity and just being a bucket, it might be Gary Trent. But obviously Scottie's got something to say about that too when he's back regularly with his team in the lineup. He's a top dog, certified option on offense, which we didn't expect to see this early, but pleasant surprise for the Raptors that he's a legit scorer at the NBA level too, along with his great facilitating and defense. Oh, T-Bird Brad saying Svi. That's true. That is true. Yeah, no, Svi is a guy that I would be feeling comfortable actually letting shoot the last bucket of a game. Wouldn't be my go-to decision, but if you're struggling to inbound the ball and he's there, I think that you're pretty good option giving it to Svi and letting him take a semi-open shot. I trust him as a shooter, and he's a gamer, right? So hoping the moment wouldn't get to him too much. Bueno Kitty saying, speaking of handling the ball, what do you think of the Raptors half-court offense tonight? Raptors have been great. Just absolutely great. They've been a well-oiled machine tonight, and they've kept their foot on the gas. I've been kind of, to speak too much to the structure of the offense right now, I've been in and out of this game, in and out of the chat, but overall, we got to be pleased with the result currently, which is us up by, what's the score right now? We got to be up by at least, so we're up by 7 points here, closing out the fourth quarter. I've been really impressed with Fred VanVleet as a facilitator and scorer tonight. He's just quarterbacked the offense properly. And OG and Gary, man, that's a duo on the wing you don't want to deal with as an opposing team. Or I guess Gary, a little bit of a shooting guard in there too, but he can play small forward. Fred VanVleet with the miss. OG has a step back three. That's Mike James saying this. His potential is scary. He's still not hit it yet. I agree. There's a little bit more to go with OG. He's young too, man. He's very young. I want to say he's only 26. So OG Anunoby, a promising project for the Raptors, and we're already getting dividends out of this. Up by 6 points. This is getting intense here, man. This is getting intense. Oh, jeez. My palms are sweating. I am perspirating. All right. Well, like I said, 3:33 left in the game here. Drop your updated score predictions in the chat. I believe earlier, I think, what was it? I said 109 to 103, I want to say, or 104. That could be on pace. We'll see what happens. But either way, your score prediction, better result with a Raptors W. Just for anyone who's been joining late here, my bet did hit tonight. You can see that up in the top left corner of the screen. I put out a YouTube short earlier today just detailing what I was gambling on, along with a little preview of the game. I'll start doing those more often on game days. Obviously with work, I don't always have the time to, but trying to increasingly make more time for it. And then Twitter. Tweet at me. I'll be tweeting back, releasing my lines there. So I don't know how many gamblers we have watching, but it is definitely a fun part of following the team and just the live stream experience in general. Second game in a row that we've hit on the bets. So let's keep the momentum up here and hope the Raptors continue to win. So far, since I've started doing the solo live streams, the Raps haven't lost. So I'm going to knock on wood right now. But good omens out here. And the Raptors are looking good at the moment. Stephen Keenan saying stonks. I agree. Jerry Joseph saying we need another lottery pick. I don't know about that, Jerry. I think we're going to be all right. Scottie Barnes being a lottery pick and one of the deepest drafts since 2003 was, I feel like, all the gift we need. We're always, it feels like with this cast, we're always one superstar away from contention. When Scottie Barnes has fully blossomed, oh, wow. They tried it. Off the inbounds there. Tried to find OG for the alley-oop, went up. He had an alley-oop like that last game, finishing on it with one hand, but missed that one. The pass wasn't great. Respect for trying it, but we are in the crunch time of this game. Every point is valuable. I'm getting some accusations of jinxing it out here. I'm going to feel really bad if I jinx. I'm knocking on wood, guys. We're superstitious here, but let's see. The Raptors, they've been out playing the Wizards. Someone mentioned it earlier. We deserve this game. Let's go out and seize it because we want revenge for opening night. That was horrendous. Mike James saying almost on that alley-oop. Happy they had the guts to try it. I agree. They're pushing some pretty cool stuff towards OG. Clock down. Gary shoots. Oh. Yeah, okay. Went out off of a Washington player, but it was after the shot clock. So Wizards ball. It's a 2-possession game. Just under 3 minutes. I'll be candid with you. Things are getting a little bit scary out here. But remaining confident. The Raptors have been, they got a roster full of gamers, and they're not going to take their foot off the pedal here. Gary Trent defending Dinwiddie. Beal from 3 misses. That's big. Oh, wow. Coast to coast. Fred VanVleet in the crunch. That is next. Final 3 minutes of a close game. Fred VanVleet takes the ball off the glass defensively, jogs it down, looks off the passing options, lays it up. That is just acting like Scottie Barnes out here. Fred VanVleet. Mystery saying Raptors are running out of gas. You might be right, but Fred VanVleet was able to reach deep into the tank on that one and go coast to coast for an important bucket. I'm not going to lie, at first I was a little bit iffy seeing him drive that far in right away after you just play a defensive possession, because I'm thinking, we have the lead right now. Long thought out possessions. Try to find the shots that are really going to benefit you clockwise. And just, the best quality shot, pass it around. But Fred VanVleet makes no mistake. They didn't respect him. Goes up and scores what is, I think, his 32nd point of the game. Yeah, 32nd point. He's got 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Great game to bet on Fred VanVleet. Very happy I did that. I said in the betting preview that I had a gut feeling that Fred VanVleet was going to have a good night. Always nice to see your betting predictions come to fruition because, got to be honest with you, it's more often than not that Vegas ends up winning, right? The house always wins, but, tonight Goody Mob's up by 1. Let's hope the Raptors pull this out, though. That is, honestly, bets aside, that's always what I want to see more. I'm not that big of a gambling degenerate. I'm always still cheering for my team, even if it means losing a bet. That's why I only bet on my players. I don't have the heart to bet on opposing players, unless it's someone like DeMar DeRozan. Former Raptors are excused. But T-Bird Brad saying, Fred looks in his bag. Kyle H saying, Lowry entrusted this team to Masai and Fred, and it's been paying off so far. Definitely. I agree, right? These are the top-notch character leaders of the team. I mean, Masai, even though he's not out there on the court, he gives us a different outlook and I think just general team culture and presence. There's something so grand and respected about Masai Ujiri. I think it rubs off on your players for sure, and there's a big-time sense of accountability and pecking order within the Raptors organization. Nick Nurse is an awesome coach too. We always find gems of assistant coaches. I'm just gloating about the Raptors organization right now, but they deserve to be talked about, right? Yeah, overall, so a lot of love for the Raptors out here. Fanfiction Pop-Tart saying, Goody Mob, we are out here. Fred VanVleet. Oh. Gets his corner pass. Gary! Are you kidding? No. Can we... I should know this. Can we challenge that? That's ball. I mean, I already admitted to being biased earlier. This angle will tell you. Was that ball? Okay, it's still way too fast. Someone's got to slow this clip down. Okay, ball doesn't lie here. Denny's going to miss the first or the second. Ball doesn't lie. Hits the first. Raptors up currently by 6. Oh, no, sorry, by 7. Denny shooting to make it a 6-point deficit if he makes, but ball doesn't lie. He's going to miss this. Misses it. There you go. Ball doesn't lie. Second free throw that the Wizards have missed tonight, and that was a key one to miss. Keep it away from being a 2-possession game. Minute 36 left. OG passes to Fred. Fred from 3. Misses the bucket. This is getting intense. Big play by Fred VanVleet. Oh! Pull out the ball and pass it around. It's a close... whatever. Okay. Svi thought he could make the bucket. I trust him. I'm not mad. That was almost a foul on Dinwiddie jacking up a 3. The refs owed us one there. They just tee him up. Yeah. Thankfully, we didn't get called for a foul there in the 3. Definitely Dinwiddie tried to sell the foul. Refs putting the whistle away there, which I think we all appreciate. Yeah, that Svi play was a little debatable going to the rim when it's contested. When you're up like this, could probably pull it out, kill some time. Andrew M agreeing, not a good play by Svi. But I do trust Svi. Whatever, player will make mistakes. He's usually got a pretty good nose for scoring. Damn. Just anxiously sipping coffee right now. It's too late to be doing this. My heart rate's up. I'm drinking coffee. I gotta go to bed in an hour. Right now we're up almost at 150 live viewers. Shouts out everyone tuning into the Raptors Digest live stream. This is my baby here. Everyone in the community, thank you so much for making this worthwhile and tuning in and just contributing to the conversation and coming together as Raptors fans. This is awesome. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Jay saying Raps are a top team in the East for sure. Well, if you've been listening to the previews to the season and even the first couple games in, Ben and Riker, they've been saying top 4 seed. And I know that we got a thing for hyperbole on this channel, and that's fully accurate, but top 4 seed does not look like a ridiculous take anymore. It looks, still a little bit tough to defend, I guess, in some senses, with how good the East is now, but it looks plausible at least. The Raptors are balling out. If they can win this game tonight against the 6-2 Wizards, I believe 6-2 or 7-2, either way, they've been great to start the season. The Wiz, if we can take it to them after what happened to us on the opening night, that's a statement victory. And you consider Scottie Barnes and Siakam, Yuta Watanabe still not in. You give us 3 serviceable to, you have a good rotation player, a top dog, and then the alpha dog coming back. It's a dangerous team. I keep saying it. It's a dangerous team. I can't read out all these comments, but I was pretty funny one by Mike James. T-Bird Brad saying diving like it's the Olympics. So Kyle H saying, it really depends on if the Nets and Sixers come back to full strength before the playoffs hit. Such a good point. Such a good point. Because Kyrie Irving is going to make a huge difference to that team in Brooklyn. 3-headed monster, bona fide. And then you have the Sixers, who I think could either use Ben Simmons personally or whatever his trade value would return. At this point, they just need something for what was a star player, and still is. Ben Simmons is really good. My opinion, I guess Kyrie's sitting out wherever he goes, but in theory, if Kyrie just had a falling out with the players on Brooklyn, which I guess you could say debatably he is a little bit, but it's a very political issue. I won't dive too deeply into it, but if there was a world where you could trade Kyrie from the Nets, who let's say hypothetically just don't want him anymore, to the Sixers for Ben Simmons, who obviously, there's mutually some anguish there. If you could swap those players, I think both teams benefit. Both teams definitely benefit. You get more defense and playmaking to the Nets, where, scoring's already not a problem. And then you get, inversely, a shot maker on the Sixers, which they really need, and someone who can actually complement the playing style of Joel Embiid and not clog up the paint with him. Do the opposite, space the floor. But, the reasons that Kyrie's holding out wouldn't make the trade make sense, because he would go there and do the same things. But in theory, a Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving trade would be pretty cool to see. I've been saying that for a little while right now. Let me know in the chat what you guys think on that subject. 150 people watching right now. Shouts out. Yeah, Nick Slaw making a point here too. There we go. Kem Birch making the free throw. The Raptors are looking nice at the moment. Really hoping they hold on to this here. He's just, Nick Slaw, the comment he's making, just basically pointing out that Ben's attitude is not okay and really don't think he's a good fit for the Raptors. I agree. The Raptors are picky. Very, very picky about the criteria they want for incoming players. And I feel like personality is something that can be a deal breaker a lot of time with, not just the Raptors, any team, but specifically the culture that Masai Ujiri wants and what guys like Nick Nurse and Bobby Webster are going to be willing to tolerate. Even Fred VanVleet, right? He's not going to sit here and let someone come in and be a distraction or a hazard to the team. So Ben Simmons, it's pretty foreseeable that could happen, especially when you're trapped up in Canada, which supposedly NBA stars like Ben Simmons, who only want to be in California, don't care about. Even if it's a great season and you win a championship, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Kawhi, you'll still leave and go back to LA. I could see a similar thing happen with Ben Simmons. Definitely not worth making a trade. I'm surprised the Raptors are constantly rumored in these conversations for trading for Ben Simmons. Doesn't make sense for me. It's going to cost way too much money because Philly doesn't want to send him somewhere in the division. And the culture sense doesn't make any sense to me either. But you know what? They're always hungry to get a star, the Raptors. So what the heck? All right, well, that just cut me off from rambling. But what was that? It was like KCP went to swat the ball, like a loose ball up in the air, and it went in the hoop. It was like buzzer beater. So Raptors up by 9, less than 20 seconds. They are going to close this one out. Just glide to 6-3. Oh boy, you'd love to see it. I hit my bets. The Raptors won tonight. It's GG. Oh, is Fred VanVleet going at it with Beal a little bit? Looks like they're talking. I wouldn't have sensed this beef coming. Okay, no. They're good. I totally misread the situation there. Yeah. Completely misread that one. But Raptors win, man. Raptors pull out the 109-100 victory. This is huge. We came close with a lot of our different predictions, but all in all, this is just a solid effort from the Raps, and you get the right result. This is the team that embarrassed us opening up the season, and now you come back to face them on the road without a Scottie Barnes, and you manage to respond to what happened before with a big W. As I just mentioned, we're at 6-3 now. This is just all the right kind of things for the Raptors momentum-wise. And after getting out a little bit of the kinks, knocking off the rust, we are back, baby. This is a great feeling. And, I've been plugging it all video, been plugging it the whole time. The bet hit. It hit last game. Come make some free money, man. Get involved with me on Twitter before the game. Let me know what you're betting on. Always appreciated, guys. You are really the engine behind this whole thing. 153 concurrent viewers at the moment. Each and every single one of you is much appreciated. And I'll catch you guys, I believe, Friday for the next Raptors game. And this was this was a masterclass by the Raptors. It got close at times, but just like I expected, they kept their foot on the gas and got the job done.